13.7 million years ago. Big Bang. We've all heard of this theory. However, how did the Big Bang happen? How did the theory that explains the occurrence of the entire universe come about? Did it just occur on its own, or was it created by a higher being? In this video, we will be going over 4 stages of the Big Bang theory. The first, causes create this. The second, it forms itself, it comes into existence, and later ceases to exist. The third, it is natural. Nature necessitates and creates it. The fourth, the creator, God. The first, causes create this. This is to imagine that the formation and existence of things and creatures occurs through the coming together of causes in the universe. We all know very well how the COVID-19 vaccine was found. Once again, Uğur Şahin and Özlem Türeci were intensely working in the lab. Mr. Uğur wanted to take a coffee break and Mrs. Özlem accompanied him. As they were leaving the lab, they slammed the door hard, and from the tremor, the chemicals in the test tubes fell to the ground. At the time, the window was open, and the wind blew in and mixed all the chemicals in the right proportions. Once again, with the wind's force, the mixture streamed into an empty test tube, and the tube was sitting right on top of the heater, and the heater suddenly started to work. After reaching the right temperature, the chemical substance reacted and formed into the COVID vaccine. When the doctors returned from their coffee break, they found the COVID-19 vaccine, which provided 98% protection ready on the table. Just as the story is implausible, the universe coming into being by random means is equally impossible, since we all agree we could eliminate this first choice. The second way. This is expressed by the phrase, it forms itself. It too involves many impossibilities and is absurd and impossible in many aspects. For example, think about every single cell in our body. All cells act in harmony with each other, but they all have an independent system with themselves. In this case, when all the cells accept themselves as their divine creator, they should be able to come together to become human beings, without even wasting one out of the billions of cells. Another aspect of the matter is that if the universe was created itself, it would need to be both the judge and the prisoner. For example, let's think about a courtroom where there is a judge and a prisoner. The judge gives a verdict and the arrested individual is charged. But if the judge were to be both the judge and the prisoner, then when the verdict is given for himself, he becomes the judge and cannot be convicted. Even if he is to be sentenced, he cannot be a judge for himself. So according to the rules of logic, one thing cannot be two things. Assuming that it is understood how impossible this issue is, we can eliminate this choice. The third, it is natural. Nature necessitates and creates it. In a deserted desert, a wild man entered a 5-star hotel equipped and decorated with all the work of civilization. He looked inside and saw thousands of items made flawlessly. From his savagery and folly, he said, "Everything inside this palace must have been built from someone inside the palace without any help from the outside world." He began to examine. After looking at all the items, even his shallow mind couldn't see that it was possible someone from inside could do this. Then he saw a floor plan where the construction program and the laws of the palace were written on it. Though the lifeless and hammerless floor plan didn't have the ability to build and decorate the palace. Since the man was helpless, seeing the palace entirely in relation to this floor plan in the sense that it was necessarily a title of scientific law relative to other things, he said, "This floor plan is what built, arranged, and decorated this hotel and is the one who made and placed these items." By saying that, he turned his primitiveness into the nonsense talk of fools and drunks. If the creation of beings, especially living things, with wisdom and art by an all-seeing power is not given to the destiny and power pen of the eternal Son, but attributed to the blind, deaf, and thoughtless nature and power, it is necessary to accept that nature has placed innumerable invisible machines and printing presses in everything in order to create, or that there is a power and wisdom in everything to create and manage the universe. Since we discussed the impossibility of this issue in the previous article, we hope that this issue is understood. The fourth, the Creator, God. There is an ease in the degree of necessity to attribute the creation of every being to the wujubul wujud. Giving creativity to nature causes to accept the difficulty at the level of impossibility and to go outside the circle of reason. He is an omnipotent creator whose existence has no beginning and no end. Unlike his creations, that is, Allah is the one who created this universe. In the light of rational and logical evidence, there is no doubt about it.